Hey, welcome back to the show. My name is Jay Young with RPM Radio. And in this show, I'm going to share a question or a statement that I hear from business owners at least 2 to 3 times each week as I consult with them. I will also share a secret recipe to help you make more money, save more time, get several more customers with only making minor changes to what you're doing now. By the way, this is only for businesses that are starving or barely making it or a little above barely, or maybe you're doing pretty good, or maybe you're doing incredible. It's really for everybody. It doesn't matter what category that you're in, right? We all want to do better. I mean, do you see Coca-Cola and McDonald's taking a month off from getting their message out in front of their audience? No, they keep at it. By the way, for those of you who don't want to continue on and listen to this, you can just hit the old stop button and go on about your business. But for those of you that are continuing on, here are my ideas for the month. As a business owner, if you want to grow your business, you have to make sure that the people that need your services know about you. Sounds like kind of common sense, right? But I've found in when I'm speaking with different people, different business owners, what seems to be common sense isn't all that common. Because when consulting with business owners, I help them to clarify on an idea that once they understand it, really changes the entire outlook of their business. And this question, this is the question that I ask. I say, you need to be able to answer this question without hesitation. Why should somebody spend money with you as opposed to your competitor, or do nothing at all? So why should somebody spend their hard-earned money with you as opposed to your competitor, or do nothing at all? Makes sense, right? What sets you apart from your competitor? Do you have a product that people need? So think about that for a second, because immediately you might be thinking, well, I know how to answer that. I'm this, and this, right? So think about that just for a second, because these are some of the answers that I get when I ask that question. People will say, well, I've been in business for 23 years, right? They'll have that on their about section of their website. One of them said, I'm the best. Another one says, I'm a member of the Better Business Bureau. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the BNI, or they have all of these lists of different things that they are a member of, right? I have the best warranty in the business. So what I hear when people tell me that is blah, blah, blah. And I say that kindly because every one of your competitors can say the exact same thing. Even the one where you said that you're in business for 27 years, even if they're in business for 3 months, what they're going to say, and it will sound like that, is our combined experience is 27 years. They've only been in business for 3 months, but between them and 5 other people in their business, they've got 23 years of combined experience. And in the mind of the listener, they go, well, they're the same thing, right? So what sets you apart from your competitor? I'm sure that understanding that could make a huge difference. Because if there is nothing different about you or your competitor, why should they do business with you? Think about that. Why should they do business with you? It can be called platitudes, right? Platitudes, if you look that up, it's words or phrases that have pretty much the same effect no matter what business they're in. You can look it up. I mean, you get the gist, right? They're platitudes. They're something that everybody can say, and they don't have really any impact at all. I talked to a business owner uh, about 2 weeks ago that told me the following. He says, "Well, I've tried marketing. In fact, I spent $3,500 marketing, and it didn't work." So when I hear something like that, the hair on the back of my head stands up there, and I say, okay, tell me a little bit more about the marketing that you did. And when you say it didn't work, tell me about how it didn't work. He says, well, we ran some ads, right? We ran some ads, and we didn't get a single person respond to them. Well, I would say that what he did didn't work. So I try to go into a little bit further, and I said, well, what was the message that was on these ads? What message did you have? Because you've got, these happen to be radio ads. So either a 30 or a 60-second commercial. My background is in radio, so I understand radio ads. I understand what should be on a radio ad. And he proceeded to tell me what was on this ad. And afterwards, I said, well, I think I know the reason why that nobody showed up. And I said, first of all, the service that you have, if someone were to use this service, how much would it cost them? He said it was roughly around $2,500. Okay. And I said, okay, so you're telling me that if you run an ad telling people about what you do, right, about this service you have, that they're going to cut you a check for $2,500 for hearing this ad. He goes, well, yeah, that's what the salesperson told me. I'm not sure if they told them that. I don't think, but think about that. Think in the last 2 weeks, have you cut a check for $2,500 for just something that you heard randomly on the radio or saw in an ad? Unless you were desperately in need of it and you had been looking for it, probably not, right? So when I discovered what was in his radio ad, it really never addressed the problems that the listener could be having that this particular business could solve. It was all about them, right? It was, we have this, we do this, we are the best. Even mentioned where he went to school and what degree he got, right? So I said, in all of this information, where does it have anything to do with how this is going to solve the problem that the listener has? Because in their mind, they've got a ton of different problems in their mind. They're thinking, I have this struggle. I've tried on my own to do this. I've tried XYZ to get this done. I've been struggling with this for 3 months. None of the content, none of the sales copy in this radio ad addressed any of that. So it was no wonder it didn't work. And by the way, when someone said that they did some marketing, like he said, well, I did some marketing. When I pressed him further, he ran an ad. And in just a moment, I'm going to clarify the reason I'm bringing that up. But now I'm going to say something that is going to seem so contradictory to what somebody in my profession would say. And that statement is, Ads don't work. Ads do not work. And whenever I tell somebody that, they usually say, but you sell ads. In fact, I was talking to one client recently, and she said, well, you made an ad for me. Because I told her the same thing. I said, well, ads don't work. And she said, well, you made an ad for me. And I said, well, actually, I did not make an ad for you. What I made for you was a curiosity device. What I made for you was an attraction device. What I made for you was a look at me device or an attention getting device. The ads don't work. Because if you don't have the right copy, if you don't have the right content, if you don't have the avatar is the buzzword for your ideal customer, if you don't have them in mind when you're writing this copy, when you're creating the content that is going in the ad, why bother doing the ad? You are wasting your money. I'm telling you right now, ads don't work. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking to themselves, you know what? I think I need an ad. You just don't. Nobody does. Nobody needs an ad. So I'm going to clarify, ads are part of a system. And when done correctly, after the sales copy is built, after the messaging is clear, after it's sure you have your sales process in place. And what I mean by that, when somebody comes into your business and they're in front of you and now you actually have them there, how do you, I mean, they're not coming in with their wallet out going, I want what you have. For the most part, you've got to sell them again, right? So what do you have in place in terms of scripts and sales presentations for not only you, but for your people, your employees? Because you can't be doing all of it, right? So you have a system in place that your employees know exactly how to make that sale. So you need to build the attraction device to say, hey, come see me. And what I just described is not an ad. It is a marketing system. And when each component piece is in place with a systematized process, that's what's called marketing. And that's how you build an enterprise. Because there are 3 stages that need to be handled. The first, you could even say 4. The first is identifying your target audience, knowing what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what makes them excited, who they are, how long they've had the problem that you can solve, understanding, how old are they, how much money do they have, much education they have. There's hundreds of levels of understanding your target audience, and then creating the content and the copy that addresses those things that you've discovered about your target audience. So you have to have this content, and that's in sales pieces, in emails. That information is in a radio ad, that's in a TV ad, that's in a digital banner ad that you would see online. All that could be in a mailer, in a brochure. All of that information has to be created before you ever create an ad. That is the foundation. Just like you would build a building, that the understanding your target and creating the content that addresses the concerns of your target audience is your foundation. The walls then would be the marketing device that gets that message in front of them on a consistent basis, because marketing is getting your message in front of your target audience over a consistent period of time until they're ready to buy. And then the ceiling, the roof, right? That's your ads. That's where the ads come in. And just like a roof, it's last. Your ads are the last thing. But for the most part, a lot of businesses, they just, well, somebody came in selling me some ads. And so I figured I need to have some ads. So I bought some ads. And that's the last thing that you should do in a marketing strategy. So you need to have the foundation, which is your understanding your avatar, understanding who your target audience is, creating the content that addresses their needs and concerns, and then having that system in place, that marketing system in place that gets that message out there. And that message could be in ads like a video ad, right? An email ad, a banner ad, a radio ad, a TV ad. But those are the last things that you need. And when all of that is in place, now you have a marketing system. Does that make sense? Is that the way you're doing it currently? So what I described can set the dominoes in motion, right? You've all done the dominoes. You have them flipped up and you flip one and they go down the line, right? The dominoes will start to fall, but they will only fall if you have the certain dominoes in place. So do you have a strategic marketing plan in place that has all of those components, right? That everything is pointed back. Everything that you're doing points them back to your business, your website, so they can learn more, right? All of these different things, these component pieces that are pointing back, and you have a system in place. Do you have a marketing plan at all, any kind? Can you identify the selling skills you need in order to close a client, or that your employees need to close a client? Do you have a clear and visual concept of who your ideal customer is? Do you have a mapped out, systematized process for presenting that message? Do you have a thorough intake process that addresses the concerns of your target audience? Or are you making your customers do all the work of finding you, researching about you, everything? Or do you make it easy for them? If you put out an ad, what will attract them? What's the reason that they should spend money with you? There's that question again, right? Is the reason because you need money? That's not a reason to be in business. That's the reason to exist. We all need money, right? But that's not the reason that you do it. There's got to be a reason that you are doing this. So let's go back to the misunderstanding that running an ad. Remember I said that I spoke with a guy and he said, well, I did some marketing and it didn't work. And I found out that actually he just ran an ad. Running an ad does not constitute marketing. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. What do you really want? Because I guarantee you it's not an ad. Would you like help answering that question? Because if you don't address this situation, remember I said I would tie the Groundhog Day movie into it? Remember, you're going to just experience whatever happened today is going to be the same thing that happens tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. If you don't put things in place, this is something that I have on my wall in my office. Says, if you want something you don't currently have, you need to do something you're not currently doing. I love that, right? It kind of goes hand in hand with Einstein's message. His big statement is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing expecting different results, because that's what a lot of us do, right? That's in business. You think, well, it's just going to get better tomorrow somehow tomorrow the people are going to find me. Well, if you want to take an active approach, that's what I do. I do the things that you may be unaware of or even unwilling to do. Or maybe you don't know how to do or don't want to do or refuse to do, because let's face it, it's not easy to do this. I would be happy to schedule a 19-minute conversation with you and help you get some clarity on this very important topic. If you'd like to do that and take advantage of this, it's a no-cost consultation, 19 minutes. Just click the little button below. And I would be happy to go through this process with you, help you sort through this and understand the things that will help you, and understand that running an ad is not going to work. It doesn't constitute marketing. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any other questions or you have some comments, you can always email me at j@rpmradioshow.com, j@rpmradioshow.com. We'll be back in just a moment.